You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Gene Johnson.
The AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's Revolution After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Revolution After Show.
Welcome back from the long hiatus. You are watching NBC's Revolution Recap right here on AFTERBUZZ TV. I am your host, Megan Thomas, and who are you guys? Because I don't remember your names anymore.
I know, it's been so long.
Sorry.
I'm Francesca Dugan, I think.
You think you're Francesca Dugan? Well, I think that I am Ryan Hooks. As a matter of fact, I know I'm Ryan Hooks.
And I am hooked on the fact that this new season is back. Yes, I had to use that.
Punning. Put a quarter in the jar.
Bloop. So, season 2, episode 10, the Tres Amigos, as we know who they are.
Con Mexico?
Yes. We see that this episode, Sebastian Monroe is back, and he rescues Dr. Porter. They go to help save Miles because he is dying from the flesh wound.
The blood poisoning.
Yes, the blood poisoning. And I was a little grossed out with the mealworms, maggots, whatever, the little larvae eating his flesh.
It's scientifically proven through the ages to help prevent disease.
So what are you supposed to do then?
They eat the rotting bacteria in the flesh, but they don't eat the healthy bacteria or the healthy flesh. So they just like eats it away and then it's gone.
I'd just be scared that it'd get under the skin or something.
But my question is this: when do they? How do you know they're done?
They stop eating.
To, like,
And then what do they do? They like go to sleep.
Go somewhere else. They take a nap. I don't know. They roll
That's what
away.
I'm saying. How do you know they're done? You can't really see their mouth.
They
chewing
move
on
on.
stuff.
They're
What do you mean they move on? Like pack their stuff up and go somewhere else?
They crawl away. They're bugs. I don't know.
Really? That's really.
I mean,
gross.
I'm not a doctor. I'm a host on an after show talking about mealworms.
Well, anyway, I'm glad we're back to the season. By the way,
Finally.
Finally.
Long break.
That was so long.
That was a really long break.
It really, to me, I realized how much I really like this show because I found myself week after week like, oh, I need to see Revolution again.
I missed it. I'm sad and I'm glad at the same time.
Oh my gosh, you're so crazy. So yes, let's jump right back into it. Of course, we see that there's a nice reunion between Dr. Porter, Aaron, Miles, the whole shebang.
The gang's
gang.
back together.
They are.
Putting
and
the band back together.
It's a little sad though because we see that Aaron is, doesn't have the love of his life, Cynthia.
Nope.
He's, going through shock. And he kind of seems a little crazy, I think, when he's questioning Rachel and he says, "What does Spring City, Oklahoma mean? What is that place?"
Well, just like at the end of the last show, prediction was Spring City was going to come back. We're going to be a part of it. So he was feeling the same way. He knew there was some connection. He needed to make the connection.
Right.
He needed to figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, the kid said it like 5 times. So clearly there's something with Spring City, Iowa because he kept repeating it.
Right.
So.
And then if you don't pick up that clue, probably not the brightest.
And then you watch next week's episode, and then they are in Spring City, Oklahoma.
Right. And so Aaron made I think he did a good thing here because he was telling Dr. Porter that he shouldn't apologize to him, but he should apologize to Cynthia, who is dead. And in a way, I mean, I get it because Dr. Porter, he messed up a lot of people. And the fact that they saved him, I don't know if that was a good idea. What do you guys think? Do you think Dr. Porter should have been saved?
Well, I think Miles would have probably died if they hadn't had saved Dr. Porter, so it's definitely necessary.
I mean, I feel like in this age in the show that, I mean, they don't really have a lot of people, so, regardless of what happened, they need to put things behind them. And really, with Aaron's response, Aaron really has no one to blame for Cynthia's death but himself. He had the opportunity to save her. If he said to the nanite technology, hey, I want you to save her, instead of saying kill them all and then save her, she'd be alive and things would be totally different.
Right. I think he does at this point. I think it's part of his grief, though. He's trying to find somebody to blame. And yes, Dr. Porter had a hand in that, but I think ultimately it is his fault. And so it just kind of makes it easier, I think, to help, to blame somebody else when you're going through something tough like this. But anyway, we see that the group decides they're going to split up because of, if you remember from the last episode, Miles made a promise to Bass that he would tell him where his son was. Yep. And as you see, Miles almost died and almost did not give that information to Sebastian Monroe. Do you guys think that he should have told Bass straight out, your son's in Mexico, go find him? Or do you think he was right in saying, we're going to come with you?
I think he was right in saying that they needed to go with him because obviously his son had met Miles before, so knew him. I think if Monroe had stormed down there in Monroe fashion, it would have been dramatically bad.
Well, I mean, yeah, exactly. You saw him, how he was speaking to him before he realized
that
it was his son.
Who he was. He didn't even know who he was, and yeah.
Well, do you guys think that they should have taken the entire gang? Or do you think they should have gone with a small group?
I think they were right to go in a small group. I mean, there was no point for the other people to go.
Okay.
You know, I mean, this would have been harder to sneak in the great city that is Mexico.
Which we soon find out, which I am ecstatic to see as they're going on this journey to Mexico. Mexico is now the place to be. Who knew, with the cartel and craziness?
Living the Mexican dream.
Yes.
Right. That, to me, I think it's so funny how in this show they take a lot of truth and they kind of show it in a way that's, to me, is really funny, because who would have thought that Mexico is a place where people want to go, people want to live? That is where you go for prosperity.
They're waiting at the border to go pick fruit in Mexico.
We're trying to go that way instead of them coming this way, which is awesome.
It's always interesting to me to like see in futuristic shows where it's sort of scary at the same time. There's the potential to see that like America, as we know it, has progressively gone down in the last several decades.
Exactly.
And we're not as great as we think we are. However, other countries are doing well and are growing and prospering. And like a lot of times they show in these TV shows and these movies a vision of America that is really bad, because that could be progressively where we end up in the next 100 years or less.
How ironic.
I know.
There's so much irony in this show, I think. Especially in the fact with Rachel when she says to Monroe, you killed my son, I'm helping you find your son. I think that's really big of her. I think she's grown a lot, as we've seen through the different episodes, because beforehand she was ready to kill Monroe.
But I think if Miles wasn't there, she wouldn't. She's only doing it for Miles.
Obviously.
Yeah.
What do you think's going to happen between them?
Something awkward.
Something awkward or something so right?
It feels so good.
I don't know. That's going to be interesting.
So wrong.
Right. That's
Save that for predictions.
Exactly. So then we see that they get across the border pretending to be tomato pickers. They get across the border. That's so funny to say that. They get across the border to Mexico to be tomato pickers, and they go to Puesta del Sol.
Couldn't they have just jumped the fence? I mean, isn't the thing to do just jump the fence, get in Mexico?
Apparently, that's harder.
Things have changed, okay?
Oh,
exactly.
Okay. The fence is higher now.
It is. If you see, what was it? Was it like a train?
It looked like a train, yeah.
That was blocking off?
I couldn't really tell.
Okay, well, that's what it looked like. That's what I thought it was. So they're in Puesta del Sol, Mexico, to find Connor, because Connor has been put there for a few reasons. Miles says one, because they wanted to hide him away from Monroe, because, he's very dangerous.
And no better place than Mexico to hide somebody from somebody dangerous.
And he also has family there. And they find that his family's dead. And of course, yes, his aunt and uncle are dead. Yeah. And as they're questioning people, here comes the whitest Mexican ever. It's Connor. And here's the question I have. How does Miles know that that's Connor? Because clearly he's 25. I would say, how old was he when he took him down there? Do they ever say that? I don't remember.
They never say specifically.
I think, but he was young enough, because he kind of... Connor was saying he remembers being brought down there, and
he remembers Miles. So
yeah, he had to be probably.
But how much do you really change?
But you change a lot. Think about it, because I'm thinking, okay, if he was taken down, I'm saying maybe like 10, which makes sense. It's about 15 years ago. You're like, I kind of know you. You look, Miles.
But
but if they know who they're looking for,
I think it was too, because every time they were asking everybody about Connor, everyone would just shut up and hush their mouths. And then when they realize that there's a cartel in town, I think you put two and two together and you're like, he probably has something to do with this. I didn't think he'd be the ringleader, the head honcho.
He's not the head honcho.
He's the
number one.
No, he's number 2. He's probably like number 3, 4. He's not that high up, 30 men.
No big deal. I mean, the town's only got 45 people in it, so.
So he's moving up the ranks. He's, we'll give him that. He's a young dude.
But he's not aiming high enough.
Apparently, from what his father says. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that in a second. Do you think that it should have been a little more apparent for Bass to know that was his kid? Or do you think he really was, Because I feel like when people say they see their child, you look at them and you're like, yo, this kid looks just like me.
I think that's more of a motherly instinct than it is for a father figure.
Really?
Yeah, because, obviously the mother has some kind of connection that, I believe they call it an umbilical cord. But that was a joke.
Oh, sorry.
Crickets. So there's a connection between the mother and son or daughter that's different than I think with the father. And especially if he's never seen the kid
I know,
before.
but I'm saying I feel like you would know. You're looking for a white kid. You're in Mexico. I mean, he's here. This kid's got a chip on his shoulder like you do. I don't know. I just feel like he probably should have noticed. Hold on, wait a minute.
Well, yeah, the second he
Which
walked
one
on
of these
screen,
doesn't belong? You're a little different.
One of these things not like the other.
Right. I feel like he would have been a little quicker with that. I don't know. You're a little slow, Monroe.
But they were out at a bar too, and he's frustrated because they can't find him. So maybe he could have been.
He's doing shots of tequila.
Yeah.
True.
It's a little dark in there, a little seedy place.
So then I don't know if I really liked Sebastian Monroe telling his son that he was Sebastian Monroe. I think he should have kept that in his back pocket a little longer. What do you guys think?
I liked it.
Why?
I liked that scene. I thought the tension in that scene was really good because I felt like the kid didn't respect him or care who he was until he found out that he was Sebastian Monroe. And then he's like, no, you're kidding. No, really? Wait, really? Really? And then you could see the look change in his face where he, just because of his name alone, had respect for him.
I can see that, but I also think that put him in more danger because of who he is and who he used to be when the Monroe Republic was at its height.
Right, and then he took him at the end, so.
Right.
And I definitely think that has to do with the fact that
Right.
But do you think you would have taken him if he was just some random guy that was like, hey, I'm your father, and he kept being the same level of tension but wasn't Monroe? I mean.
No, I don't think they would have taken him. I think it would have been like, this random dude came across the border. He's my dad. He's trying to find me. He's a loser. And that would have been it. I mean, think about it, because if you've got, Senor Nunez, who is the head of a cartel, what does he care that some random gringo came over and wants to see his son? Yeah. He's not going to care.
You're breaking all the Spanish today, aren't you?
I'm bringing it in, honey. Every little bit that I know, which is not a lot, unfortunately. But I'm thinking about it, like he wouldn't have cared. He wouldn't have brought him in for questioning or to talk to him.
Maybe not. I mean,
and you have to don't forget that there's a bounty on his head.
There is still?
it wouldn't go away.
Well, I'm saying of course they thought he was dead. That's, everybody still thinks he's dead. Nobody knows he's alive. But I don't know if the word has traveled down to Mexico that he was dead. They might still think there's a bounty on his head. You know what I mean?
Maybe they don't even know about the bounty though either.
Exactly. So then we see, before he gets taken away, we do see that he has a dialogue with Rachel and Miles, and they're trying to convince him, look, you've seen your kid, that's enough, keep it moving. Do you think that's the right advice?
I don't know. I don't know if it's right or wrong. I just think Sebastian kind of has a mind of his own, and he was determined to see his son. So I don't think he would just leave as easily like that.
I don't think it mattered what they said to him, because he was going to stay if he was going to stay, and he was going to go if he was going to go.
And I think actually when Rachel was like, sarcastically was like, oh, it's like you're looking in a mirror, because they're both kind of have that.
Right.
That kind of probably sparked him even more to want to go back and speak with him.
Right.
So, I mean, if you wanted to get out of there and just go back home to Texas or go back to Texas, then yeah, that probably wasn't the best thing to say to Sebastian.
Yeah, I think they said he was going to stay or he was going to go regardless of what they said to him. So he had his mind made up to stay and talk to him and do all that. So he was going to stay. So it didn't matter.
Right. I think, as friends, I think they said the right thing. Well, I'll take that back. I think their heart is in the right place to say, hey, you're not really a dad. You're not cut out to be a dad. That's why he was out here. But it's kind of harsh. Like, dang, you're going to tell this man. He's not cut out to be a dad, and he's seen his son, and just kind of forget about him. I think that's kind of stupid. How can you tell somebody, you have a son. Here is your son. Now turn away and keep going.
Well, see you later.
That is.
Adios.
Yeah. I just think that is crazy that you could tell somebody such a life-changing thing. He has such a life-changing moment, and you expect him to turn away. I don't think that was possible, personally. I think they should have left him there and said, okay, we wish you the best. We'll probably never see you again. Have fun.
I mean, that's good, though, too, because they're showing Monroe actually having some human characteristics. He's showing some sort of compassion or empathy for something that he missed out on, that he wanted to be a part of. You know, so he's like trying to do the right thing. Right. You know, and going to see him and going to talk to him and trying to meet him. Right. You know, and that's something that he hasn't really done a lot as a character in the show. He has not been the character that you look to for compassion and that kind of stuff, empathy, anything. And now we're getting that from him. So he's growing as a person, which is good. Right.
And then he heads over, you know, he leaves the other two amigos and he heads over to see his son. And I love the fact they're playing Sweet Home Alabama
in Spanish.
In Espanol. That's amazing.
Oh, azul skies.
Okay.
That's all I got.
And so we see that they're talking, and of course, the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree because Connor's kind of rotten. He's like, you know what? It doesn't matter who you are, Dad. It's wonderful you're trying to be so heartfelt, but now my boss wants to see you, so let's capture you.
At gunpoint.
What'd you say?
At gunpoint.
Exactly. But I don't think at this point, do you think Monroe really cares?
No.
At least he's gotten to see his son. He's like, I guess I can die now, right?
Yeah, he's not going to die. Yes. They need him.
Well, let us know what you think. Make sure you head to iTunes and subscribe to our podcast. Let us know what you think. Should Miles have told Monroe the things that he told him as far as his son goes? Or do you think that Sebastian Monroe should be happy that he's found his son? Should he stay there with his son? Should he leave? Let us know. Hit us up on iTunes, subscribe, rate, comment, give us 5 stars.
Yeah, you want to help us out, that's what you can do.
Yeah.
Help us help you by making us more searchable, you know, being able to find the shows, get more people, get more viewers. Give us a 5-star rating. Tell us what you think. iTunes.
And tell your friends. Tell your friends.
And tell my friends, and tell your friends, and your mom's friends, and your dad's friends, and your dog's friends.
Okay, that's enough friends.
Maybe your friends in Mexico.
Yeah.
Tell your friends in Mexico. Tell your friends in Australia.
So now we turn the tables to Major Neville.
Good old Tom Neville.
Good old Tom Neville. He is part of the detail for Secretary Allenford, and they're headed to the White House. Dun, dun, dun. And we see that he has come up with this master plan with Julia, and it is to kill the chief of staff because then Julia's husband will take that position, and then she will then put a bug in her husband's ear to promote Tom to a higher rank.
Do you trust her?
I don't. I don't.
Absolutely not.
And we see here that she is so power hungry because she refers back to Major Neville and his insurance adjuster days when he was kind of a nobody.
Being the housewife.
Yep.
Right. Being a housewife. He was kind of lame.
Lame housewife.
He just, she reminds him like, you were weak. I don't want that. You promised me a life and I'm going to get that life. And even if her husband gets promoted to chief of staff and Neville gets promoted, he's still not going to be at the level of her chief of staff husband. Mm-hmm. Why would she then get rid of her chief of staff husband to be with him? I don't think he's thinking clearly right now.
Who, Neville?
Or her?
Neville is not thinking clearly.
Right. But the one thing he did say, I'm going to gut him. So if he dies and then he gets promoted, then...
He's still not going to be... That's what I'm saying. He's still not going to be the same position as her husband.
Right. Well, if Neville kills her husband, though...
He's still not going to get that position because there's a bunch of other people. Like, who
Depends on how far he gets promoted. I mean, if she bugs him hard enough...
But still, there's other people in line. There's Secretary Allenford could get chief of staff. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is there's so many other people who could have taken that position.
We're about to get all Game of Thrones and just kill everybody.
Probably so. But I'm just saying I don't think she would give up because that's really, really close to being the president's wife. Next is vice president. It's really close. So I don't see how she would be okay with saying, yes, you can kill my husband and you can be my new husband.
Right. Even when he said that, her kind of look on her face I was wondering what you guys thought because she didn't really have an emotion. It almost looked like, oh shit, like excuse my language.
No, but I think it was more like, yeah, you think that's gonna happen, but it's not.
I'm a woman and I'm tricking you because you're just a dumb guy.
Right, and he even says he wasn't thinking clearly when he says, I can't believe I love you. This is why I'm doing all this stuff. He's not thinking clearly, and he almost got caught when he was putting the serum.
I thought that was crazy that he just busted in on chief of staff and
Right.
Because someone could have heard the struggle, something like that. That was a very desperate move for him.
And I think the desperation came from the pep talk, quote unquote, that he had
Right.
with Julia about him being so weak. And, you know, I remember from last season, you see a flashback of him hating the fact that he was that weak guy. When his son saw him get beat up by a robber when the blackout first happened, he, you know, for him, he's like, I will never be that guy. I don't want to be that guy anymore. So I think her comment kicked him into overdrive. And he's like, you know what? I don't even care. It's not like they can do DNA testing and like fingerprinting to see that he was.
Yeah.
the one
And this is the first time we've seen him in a situation where his emotions have controlled the situation.
Right.
Which is like another change in characters. Look at us developing. Yay.
Right.
Because he's never been one that is driven by emotion or doesn't know what he's doing 3 steps ahead of what he does.
Right.
So like this is a kind of a cool little scene with him.
Yeah, he's very strategic, but this wasn't strategic.
Not at all.
Killing the
No.
chief of staff.
When he busted in there and just choked him
No,
out
no.
and poisoned him.
Yeah, it's gonna get messy, and I think because he's letting his emotion get to him, they're gonna notice, especially Secretary Allenford. I think that's gonna be his Achilles heel because I mean Allenford knows who he is, so I think eventually he'll start putting 2 and 2 together.
Erratic
and say,
behavior and stuff.
Right.
Yep.
So what's in the file then? I mean, we see
Exactly
Jason
what I
finds
was
the secret
just
file,
Thinking.
What do you guys think is in the file?
some power maneuvers.
No clue.
World domination.
Some pretty important plan because Jason's expression was like, ooh.
Well, yeah, too, and you saw the reaction that Allenford had when he came in the room and put the file down, and you think that came just after the scene where they all had to talk with the president. So
yeah.
there's some kind of snowballing effect there that's going down.
Right, and I'm kind of scared what that might be because we also see how that is attached to what goes on with what Dr. Porter and Charlie see back in Texas, which is there's something getting injected into oranges.
Yes.
I think it's all connected.
Yes.
Do you think so?
Some kind of mind-altering chemical. They're like, hey, have an orange, but you're gonna die. Yeah, I mean, it's all connected. There's no reason for them to not be connected.
Right, and it's going to be interesting how this plays out. Of course, this is why we love Revolution so much.
Yes, it is.
Because it keeps you on the edge of your seat. So let's jump over to that. We see that Aaron and Dr. Porter and Charlie are left in good old Texas. And Aaron decides he needs to leave and go to Spring City. Why do you think he doesn't take Charlie and Dr. Porter with him?
Maybe it's because of how he's dealing with everything that's going, the deaths.
With the death.
Maybe he has
Cynthia.
some sort of guilt because he feels like he might be the cause of some of this.
Right.
He is a big chunk reason of this. I think, again, he needs to be away from everyone. I think him, going off on his own helps him deal with himself. And I don't think a lot of people would understand other than, Cynthia, who's explained to a lot. I don't think he wants them around. I mean, you see that comment that Charlie made where he crisscrossed the creek 3 times or 2 times to lose the trail, which means he did it intentionally and didn't want them to follow. So, I mean, if he wanted them to go, he would have asked them to go and they would have gone.
Right.
So it's him dealing with his emotions in his own way, and it's him finding things out on his own. Again, a third character change in development because he doesn't usually do things on his own. He's not the kind of guy that's the go do it, fix it, take care of the problem kind of guy.
And he has no fear now, which is a stark contrast from how he was in the first season because he was so, scared, timid. And now he's getting ready to go through the wild. I don't know how far. I was just thinking about this. How far is Spring City, Oklahoma from where they are in Texas?
Yeah.
That's not a short walk, okay? A drive in itself would probably, from where they are, because they used to live in Texas.
They were close to the border because
That's what I'm saying. From the bottom of Texas to the very top is about 10 hours. So
drive time.
Drive time, that's driving. So how long did it take him to get to Oklahoma? Like 5 weeks?
He got his workout in.
He got his workout in. So for him to think in his head, I'm going to make it to Oklahoma and with no help is amazing to me. And the fact that he did it is like beyond my mind right now. Because how could you not run into any trouble being Aaron? I don't know. But, I mean, that tells you how determined he was and how serious he is with the stuff that Cynthia told him, which was you need to face your whatever this is. That's why you're going through this. You're not going to know what or how to deal with being the nanite dad unless you actually face this stuff.
Nothing motivates somebody more than death. So, I mean, that's, I'm sure, a huge driving factor in his character. I think, too, the reason they split him off is it helps give us more plot points. I mean, now that we have a third plot that's going on, or a fourth plot, underlying. So there's so many different ways they can take the show and things they can develop and grow in.
Right.
Because we have 11 more episodes this season of greatness coming your way.
Yes. So we see that as Charlie and Dr. Porter are looking for Aaron, they also find that there's something weird going on in the town. The Patriots are bringing in wagons. So there's one more wagon coming in, and Charlie and her granddad decide they're going to hijack it. And Charlie is a killing machine now. She's grown into, I remember the very first or second, no, it had to be like second or third episode. She was just struggling with the fact, should I kill this man? If I kill him, this is what could happen, but I don't want to kill him. And now you see her, she kills without hesitation.
Didn't even bat an eye.
She doesn't care. And to the point where her grandfather is just like, who is this girl?
And she's like, what do you think? That's why you brought me along, right?
He probably was like, I thought you were... I mean, I don't think he put two and two together, like, she's going to kill them. I mean, what else could she do with them? Right. She can't just let them live, obviously. But to actually see her be such a killing machine and kill effortlessly, I think it made him go, okay, my baby is not a baby anymore.
Oh, you haven't all grown up.
Yes. So then we see there is a truck full of oranges.
Right.
What did you guys think when you saw that?
At first, I was like, okay, maybe there's something underneath the oranges.
Right.
But then they didn't develop that scene more. So I was like, okay, it really is oranges. What are they going to do with these oranges?
Yeah, I really had no idea. When I actually wrote in my notes, like, oranges, ? What? Something's not right here.
Right. When I saw the oranges, I thought the same thing. I thought maybe there was something underneath, or there's like, oh, they can't be oranges. They're hiding something in the crates or something.
There's no need for them to hide anything, though. I mean, who's going to stop them?
I mean, you never know. So then, of course, we see that in the town that the Patriots are, the head Patriot is telling everybody, trying to instill hope, giving them a nice Barack Obama type of speech full of hope and change.
It's a luxury we can now afford, have oranges and take vacations and
go to
tobacco.
Grocery stores.
Yes, and think about that concept, to not have a grocery store. Like, you kind of forget how, like, these people don't get that stuff. We go to the grocery store a couple times a week, no issue. And we expect our oranges to be there from Florida. We expect,
like California guacamole, avocados all ready to rock.
You always feel like that, you never think that is also something that happens when you have no electricity, when you don't have the logistical systems to bring trucks to where they need to go, that kind of thing. That's amazing that these people are just like gold when they see these oranges. And then we see behind the scenes that they're getting injected with something. What do you guys think that is?
Mind-altering chemicals?
Yeah, it has to be.
Right. I think it's going to be something very addictive, like what they gave at the camp, what Jason had. Mm-hmm. So they're going to have some kind of chemical that way. Yeah. It's very addictive. You know what I'm saying? Because then they're going to crave it. Then they're going to do whatever they have to get it. And what better way to control people? Yeah. Exactly. What better way to control people than to have them addicted to a substance?
I'm not buying oranges anymore.
Not ones that look so juicy and delicious.
Well, then that's called rotten. Nobody's buying those either.
They're cheaper.
Okay. Well, you keep eating those.
I'm going to eat my rotten oranges. Thank you very much.
Okay. And so we see that Aaron makes it to Spring City, Oklahoma. It is a ghost town. No one's there.
Except
dun, dun, dun.
Well played.
Grace Beaumont is back. We remember Grace from The Tower. She's also one of the people who, you remember, create this technology. What the heck is Grace doing there? That's what I want to know.
Yes.
Questions that needed answers.
And how is she?
We're going to find out next time, aren't we?
How did she get there?
She walked as well.
No, I'm just kidding. She walked. She had to. I mean, everybody has a walk.
She hailed a cab. I don't know.
She had to. I don't know. But this is really weird. And I'm wondering, do you guys think there are other people that are also in the city as well? In the city?
Yes.
Like I'm saying a lot of people. Or do you think it's really just her and maybe like one other person?
No.
I kind of feel like it's going to be just deserted. Kind of like a hideout.
I mean, you thought the tower was deserted too, and you saw there was a whole community dedicated to protecting the tower and the technology. There was like 12, 15 people there. I feel like a lot of the same people may be in this town.
You feel like they made it?
I feel like there's probably something there that's related back to the tower. That, they were dedicated to protecting this. Now they're protecting something else, which is another thing that will help in the progression of the technology or the power situation, things like that.
I don't know if the people made it, though. I feel like because.
I mean, Grace made it.
I mean, but Grace is Grace Beaumont.
What, Maria? We love you.
Hi, Maria. I don't know. I don't think that I'm with you, Francesca. I don't think there's a lot of people here. I think it's pretty deserted. Yeah. I think she made it. I mean, I do think the people from the tower probably came with her, but that's a long trek from Colorado, where the tower is, to Oklahoma. There's a lot of things that can happen. They could have gotten captured. They could, dealing with animals in the wild, dealing with dysentery, like it's the Oregon Trail. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that I'm sure they're having to deal with.
Your wife is low on food.
Right. I don't think everybody made it. Maybe like one other person.
Yeah. I just feel like it's a special place. So it's going to only be the key characters dealing with this.
Do you guys think that the little boy is going to resurface? Or do you think he's gone for good?
I don't know. Maybe he could, but I could see that he's already played his part to bring him to Spring City. So maybe.
But I think they need him, and he's a good way for them to use and/or explain things more. Like if they get to a point where they're giving more details and talking about the technology and that kind of stuff, he's a good forum to deliver that information. Where he would know the best because he is that technology. So
here's what I think. I think as more stuff gets revealed to Aaron, especially since he's come to the city, I think the nanites may come back, because remember in the last episode, in episode 9, the little boy said, "I'm not coming back. I'm done." I think then he will come back, but in a different form. So maybe now this time it'll be like an old lady,
maybe,
or something from his past. I don't know. It's something different. I think he'll come back, but not in the way we've seen.
I want to see more too. What's going to happen with now that Grace is back in the picture, the locket, because as we saw in the early season 1, the locket controlled power.
Right.
And she had one, but then lost it. So now that Aaron has one, and there's a couple other ones floating around, what potential can they do in Spring City, Oklahoma, that maybe that she's been building or developing with this locket and this power that it holds, and the way that it can create?
But here's the thing: do you think the lockets still have power right now?
Yeah, they why wouldn't they?
Because remember when the blackout happened again? Remember when they turned the lights on, and then all that stuff happened at the tower. They blew up Philadelphia and Atlanta, and then the power went out again. Why did the power go out again? If they have power, they can probably try to help reignite stuff, right? They could have used that little power source to turn the tower back on and to power up power for everybody, right? Mm-hmm. But they didn't do that. So I'm even wondering if there's still power left in those things.
I think so.
Do you think there is?
I don't know. Do you think? Wait, so you guys think Grace has one?
Well, I think
she had one and it got taken from her. Remember?
Do you think she might have? Well, because
she might still. I know, but she might still have it, or she might have gotten.
Hers got taken from her. Remember?
Which one? Who took it?
The one guy that was part of the group.
Yeah.
That
guy.
worked. The creepy guy that worked.
Randall.
Randall. That's it. Randall took it from her.
But remember, Randall shot himself, so he was still there at the tower.
Right, but
they were enclosed in a room.
Yeah, he was
right. But then they busted in the room later. Of course, they had to. I mean, they probably got in there.
But they maybe didn't know. I don't know. I don't think Maria has one, and I think
they did get in. Hold on, they did get into the room. They couldn't stop the atomic bombs.
He had already pressed it.
Right, he had already pressed it. It was already got. So I'm saying I feel like she probably got back, but obviously I don't think they work, because they probably would have used them to activate.
They don't know how to use them though. Maria's the only one,
Aaron. That's what I'm saying. Aaron has his,
but he doesn't know how to use it.
He does.
They've never seen him use it.
He had, because last season, remember, he was at
with the phone where the pictures.
He knows that it has power,
but he didn't know how he did it.
He did. You just push the button in the middle, and he knew how to do it.
Well,
that's what I'm saying. So I feel like there's no power.
I think there's still power, and I think it's going to come up.
I think you can't just push the middle button anymore and it turns on.
Yeah, and there's something to it, but there's definitely still power.
But there's something that Maria is going to introduce that's going to help us.
Yes, we're going to have to get her on the show.
Maria.
We have to call her by her name on the show. Grace.
I'm sorry. Grace Beaumont, everyone.
Yes. We can't call her Maria. But, yeah, I think we got to get her on the show, see if she's going to tell us anything. She probably won't. It's a long shot. But we can still try to get her on and see if she'll tell us some stuff.
I'm interested to see. So, in this day and age of television, and there's so many shows on, there's so much going on, did you think that the last episode before the break and this episode coming back in, brought enough to the table to, really get people excited back about the show again?
I do. Because I think now we've got 4 different plots that we're dealing with. We're dealing with Aaron going to Spring City. We're dealing with Neville and his I don't
Conquest.
know. Yes, Conquest to be back in power. We're seeing that Miles and the other two amigos are on their way to Mexico. Go see a son. So there's something going on
and
with
also Charlie
Monroe's
Porter
son.
and the stuff with the camp.
So there's four, I think this is a good setup for the rest of the season.
Because I remember the last episode we recorded that you weren't that excited about the episode and what had happened. And I thought that for an end of mid-season episode, I didn't think they put enough in it. There wasn't enough that happened that like made you like really want to come back and watch, the next section of the season. And a lot of episodes end with like big questions and big.
No, I think there was a lot of questions. I just didn't like the whole little boy thing like that. There was stuff about that annoyed me, but I do think there was enough to get us, salivating for the last half of the season. And I think this was a really good setup because there's so many directions that it can go. At this point, I'm trying to rack my brain like, okay, now what are they going to do with Connor?
That's exactly the whole time. I'm like, why are they bringing him into the picture now? And why Mexico? Like a whole nother
right.
They're going to restart the Monroe Republic.
Right,
that's the plan.
And what was funny when they went to go look for Connor, I didn't realize that they were heading south to Mexico. I thought they were going to go maybe somewhere in the Plains Nation, maybe in Oklahoma, and meet up with Aaron by chance. And never in a million years did I think they were going to leave the country. So this is the first time they've left the country, and it's just kind of like, whoa, it's different.
Right. Well,
awesome to see.
I don't know. We'll see.
So yeah, let's get into some of these predictions for next week.
Soundboard crapped out, guys. Sorry.
AfterBuzz TV predictions.
All right, so let's.
Well, there we go.
There it is. Flashing lights. Sound effects.
As close as we can.
Francesca, what do you think?
Yes.
No. Well, like I just said, I'm really just. I don't know what I think. I'm just really excited to see where it goes with Mexico.
Okay. Well, let's talk about this. Let's talk about Aaron, and we see in the promo for next week, his old wife Priscilla is also. Yeah. She made her way back to Spring City, Oklahoma. Why do you think that is?
Yeah, I don't know. That was completely out of the blue. That was crazy.
They were together when he was at Google, right? Like way back forever.
Back in the day.
And back when he was writing the software code. So I think she's going to have something to do with this software because that's what he developed when he was in college and that's what made him famous and rich and that's what also all this technology is based on.
Or maybe because, he's so distraught he lost Priscilla in the first season and then just right now he lost
he needs a love
her
interest.
Name.
Cynthia.
I totally forgot. So many weeks in between. But I think that maybe seeing her again is gonna
re-inspire him to rewrite the code, maybe,
or just
new code.
Help him grieve. He's not really gonna grieve anymore. Now he's gonna be like, oh my god,
distractions.
Right,
Priscilla.
And I think and I honestly think he still loves Priscilla. He really loves her. He wants to be with her. And the last time when he saw her again, she had children, she was married,
family,
she had family, so maybe now her family's gone. That's probably wrong to say, but maybe they can be together again.
I see Locket power in our near future. Whether you think so or not, I see it coming.
It's probably coming. I don't know. I guess we'll see. So then, I'm so mad at these lockets, because hold on, I feel like if you have a locket, Aaron, why didn't you freaking use the little thing to help heal Cynthia or something? I don't know.
Yeah, I totally forgot about
the lockets don't heal. All they do is turn power on.
Okay, fine. There's so many instances he could have used that.
I mean, he could blow people up too, but he doesn't do that enough either.
I'm just saying. I just feel like there's no power. Anyway, so then we also see for next week that Monroe is with his son. He gets captured, and his son is like getting ready to whoop him. Beat him like slave style.
He's gonna get beat. I think that something's gonna happen there where Monroe does something very Monroe-like from his past, where he instantly gains the respect of his son. He's gonna kill somebody. He's gonna do something that's gonna make his be like, "Wow, that was really cool."
Tricks.
Something. He's gonna get all Cirque du Soleil on us here and hang from the rope. No, like. I was waiting for him to do something where a fight was going to break out in the bar or when they held him at gunpoint, where he was going to fight off these 6'8", 30 gringo-esque people, I
don't think I think the opposite of that is going to happen because that is
nothing.
No.
Take it.
No, what I'm saying is because at this point, I think his fight is different. His fight is not like I need to prove to you that I am the man. I think it's going to be. He's inspired his son. The talk that he had from this episode, which is, you're a Monroe. It's in your blood. You can't fight that. You should be leading thousands. You shouldn't be, leading 30 men. I think that might, if he's truly his dad's son, then that has sparked something in him. And I think he's going to see that his father, he's going to see like, look, my dad's right. What I'm doing here is nothing. So he's going to somehow just free his dad and save him, and then they're going to ride off in the wind. I don't know. And take over something new, perhaps. Maybe Mexico, maybe Bolivia, maybe Chile. I don't know. Maybe they'll just keep going south. Who knows? But I do think that instead of his son getting the respect of his father, I think it'll be vice versa. I think it's a little twist. And, of course, we see, again, Rachel and Miles will have to come to the rescue.
Here they come to save the day.
They already knew that was going to happen, though.
To save the day.
That's kind of boring to me. To me, that's expected. I feel like they should do something different.
I don't know. I guess we'll find out. Tune in next week. We'll talk about it.
Definitely. Where can we find you guys?
Go ahead, Francesca. Tell us where we can find you.
Twitter, Instagram, Vine, XOXOCESCA.
You can find me at RyanHooks92 on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Yahoo, and also Snapchat. Hey, special shout out to Nicole Cooper. Australian Snapchat hit me up because they watch Revolution down in Australia as well. So thanks for tuning in, checking us out.
Thanks, down under. And as always, you can find me, Megan Thomas, on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Meg Scoop, like scoop of ice cream. Don't forget to follow us and subscribe on iTunes because we love to hear from you and we love to keep you
call us.
Intrigued.
Give us love. We'll give you love back.
So until next week, make sure you stay tuned. Bye-bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.